Okay, it is this is the outreach committee or the outreach working group for the Ortelius project, June 21st. Happy summer to all. We are officially in summer. So the things on the agenda today to cover are the podcast. That's probably what we need to focus on mainly. And I want to talk about training. So the podcast, I think that we sorted out everything that we needed for topics. I have on my list of honeydews to update the form. I have not gotten a chance to do that. If anybody wants to take on updating that form with the correct topics, let me know. Otherwise, I'll get to it sometime this week. We had, the form will just have to have kind of like radio buttons to select when, what topic the person wants to submit a talk for. Happy news, I think we reported it before, but Aditi did get accepted to DevOps World as a speaker, and I did too. My talk is going to be on high-level information about the Continuous Delivery Foundation, and Aditi is going to do one on domain-driven design. Siddharth did host me at a NatWest group, his company that he's working for. And we did a nice presentation. We talked about some of the challenges and the importance of a service catalog for managing microservices. It went over really well. And we introduced Ortelius, which was great. The other thing that we have going on that we really need to form a group of people around this topic, I think is the best way to do it, is training. We have, I published out there, let me see if I can quickly find it. It's in slides. I think I shared it with everybody, so everybody should have it, but in case you got to share and didn't get a chance to react to it. Okay, here is the link. I'll put it in the doc as well. What is this doing?
I can put it in there. I got it.
Okay. We're doing something weird on my machine. I'm going to bring it up. So what we need to do is we need to get a team together. Maybe, it may just have to be 2 or 3 people. The training covers these specific topics. So we have documentation and training that needs to be addressed. When Owen had a doc pro, I guess you could call her a technical writer, walk through our documentation, the criticism was it didn't tell a good enough story. It didn't pull together the parts. So I looked at the training that we had and I rewrote a good portion of it to try to do that. So the way this training is structured, I'm hoping it tells a better story. And the problem with telling the story is that it's hard to talk about topics you haven't already introduced. So I tried to make it where we were able to tell a story, but not introduce topics too soon. So we first start with kind of talking about what a catalog is and the importance of a catalog, why we would use it. I talk about hierarchy in the catalog and how you can share things based on the hierarchy. We talk a little bit about building the catalog. We talk a little bit about domain-driven design, why it's important and what it looks like. We talk about what's also important in terms of the attributes of domains as well as components. And we eventually drop down to components themselves. So then we break down what components are, what make up their attributes, why you need them. We talk a little bit about how the versioning engine works. And then we drop into applications and how applications are fitting together, how you package an application, how you create a base version, how you borrow on components. And then we go into how applications and domains work together and the concept of these subdomains that are lifecycle domains. And then we jump over to some of the harder stuff, which is endpoints and environments, why we store them, why we track them, what an endpoint is compared to what an environment is. I have a typo there. I'm going to fix it right now. And then from there, we talk about applications and deployments. If you're using our engine, how our engine works, it gives the logic and how it thinks. We talk about what's important for that to happen, credentials and repositories, and we finish off with users and groups, and that is about it, I think. Oh, and we talk about notifiers. So I go through as much as I can all of the core elements of the product and try to create a story that doesn't that can build on, from one to the next. What we don't have in here is we don't have quizzes. We need to have quizzes. So at the end of each of these sections, so let's say at the end of before we go into registering components, we should have like 4 or 5 good questions to review. Now, I believe that haven't looked at it, but there's online training that's going to allow us to build in those questions. So that's the other thing we need to do. We need to start looking at putting this into some kind of online training. There are some tools out there that we haven't looked at the cost yet, and Deploy Hub can certainly go ahead and make the purchase of the platform and then host the Ortelius training at on the Deploy Hub training site until I can find out if this is something that the Linux Foundation would host. But so the work that needs to be done is really we need someone to go through it. We need it would be great to have some small demos so we could have excursions and then quizzes at the end of each section. So even if we had, let's see, there's probably 7 sections. So if we had 7 folks take on each section, we'd almost have it done. So that's something that certainly we can, that's a nice project that we can do. And then what we'll do for the folks who have worked on the material, they will become our first certified instructors. And then those folks will have to figure out how to certify other instructors. So if this is an area that you're interested in, please let me or Siddharth know. And Siddharth is back, so I'm going to stop talking and turn it back over to him.
Yes, hi, good day all. So continuing to where Tracy left, what you've done is there is, I'm not sure whether Tracy have called it out, but we're looking for people who can help us in the content development for the API in terms of training and certification. So we have already this content for how to approach and how to work on the APIs, but we're looking forward, and what we've done is a quick check is we have created cards also on the Trello boards. So you may see something with labeled as Ortelius training and certifications. They are in the backlog list of items. Go for it, whatever you wish to grab or wish to contribute to, tag yourself. It's easy to tag yourself. One of the, just reiterating, click on the members piece or click on join, whatever you may prefer, and tag yourself. Once you tag it, you may comment it that you wish to contribute onto X API or Y API. For your reference, what you've also done is for this API, whatever documentation we have on Ortelius, the link is also given for your reference as a reference. So this is what we want to develop. The sooner the better. So that is about the content piece. Also for the piece on our LinkedIn, I think it is growing each day. We have over, and number doesn't matter, but yes, we have over 11 different people who have started following what Ortelius is doing. Quick thing. Okay. In the meantime, this opens up. The other thing is we want to start our podcast. The form will be created, but if in case you wish to contribute on the podcast piece, please research out. We want to record one podcast at least this month. We are not fixated about what should be the content, what should be the material. Let's find out. One help which I would require again from the Ortelius community is, if you're good with sound mixing and all those, we want to probably, give some background scores for the podcast.
Right. So that's why we'll do the podcast internally. We'll just do it amongst ourselves initially, and then we'll get the
System is
format
working
sorted
slow,
out.
Okay, I think my system is working slow while showcasing. So I'll stop. Okay. I've stopped sharing. I think the system was working slow for some reason. So what I would request is, the new folks, Bala or Atul, who have spoken earlier also, or Francis or Aditi, if you wish to contribute on podcast, if you wish to contribute on the development of the API content or training and certifications, so that you are in itself becomes a certified trainers, please reach us out. The sooner the better.
Yeah, and the topic on so the training that I summarized is really the basic user training. We haven't done anything in the area of advanced training, which is where the APIs come into. There's probably other advanced topics, but covering those core APIs is just would be the first place to start for the advanced course.
Okay, your views, guys. Francis, Atul, Bala, Vikram, do you wish to contribute? Maybe not in yes or no immediately, but what is your views? What we have seen is generally in these legends, only few people speak in. We are not able to gauge in your opinions.
Hello there.
Yeah, Vikram.
Actually, it's my first day, so I guess I'm not much comfortable with all these. But like, I means I would have a look onto these things, and I would prefer, I guess, the training and certification part. Like, if I could learn first, and then I'm sure, I guess, I'll be able to help others along.
Great.
All right. So, Vikram and every one of you, if you want to know more about what you're doing, and do you think that you want to have more conversations, I have sent across my calendar details. Just book any day, any slot where you are available. I can brief you more about it.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
All right.
I will definitely.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Over to you, Tracy.
So we have cdCon is this week. Let's quickly look at what we have for the schedule. I'll share my screen again. Over here. Okay, for cdCon, we have the events. Let's see, we have the Ortelius Birds of a Feather, which is 12 o'clock Mountain Time. So that's 11 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Pacific, 2 o'clock Eastern, depending on where you are. We have a person by the name of Juan Perdo, who is doing a talk on Ortelius. Steve's is doing a talk at 1 o'clock Mountain Time. I do mine at 1:40. And then we have a demo for Intro to Ortelius at the booth at 2:15. And then on the 24th, Karam is doing a talk on microservice visualization. We haven't seen Karam lately. Does anybody talk to him? Hoping he's okay.
He popped in on a Discord comments last week, just really quick.
Okay.
But that's it. Nothing. It was very like one sentence.
Okay. Well, maybe Steve, Steve, if you could reach out to him, just make sure he's okay. But
Yeah.
I think the one I would highlight the most is if we could get as many people to the Birds of a Feather. That's the most critical. cdCon is free, so you can register. No, there's no cost. And getting getting as many of our contributors to the Birds of the Feather will be important for this event. So if you can show up at noon Mountain Time, that would be great. And I think that's about all I have. I just got to get the form done for the podcast. And we probably should schedule like because we still have work to do on the podcast platform. So we got a lot to do on the podcast. But I'll get the form going. We'll get some people scheduled, and that'll force us to do it.
Can you share that link for the cdCon schedule that you're looking at? Because I had different times.
You know what? These are old times, and they may have changed them. This is coming from our website. I need to cross-check this with the. Let's make sure with the. Do you have the Birds of a Feather?
I have it on our calendar invite as 11:40, and then like my talk's 12:45, and then Juan's is at 2:30, and then Crumb's is like 11:15. So it seems like things are off by like 10 to 15 minutes. So I'll just pull it from the regular schedule.
Yep. Here's the schedule. Okay. So if we look at Birds of a Feather,
because I know they're moving things around.
And this is in Eastern time, so it says 12:10 is Birds of a Feather. So it's like 10 minutes off.
Yeah.
It's 2:10 Eastern. And I'll update that our calendar on Deploy Hub and send it out to everybody today. Let's see, the event SIG is still in the morning at 9:15. What did I say it was? Where did I go?
Okay, I'll go through and add these just so we have them.
Oh, where does it need to be added?
Just into the our meeting documentation.
Oh, okay. Yep. And I'll update this to make sure it's got the 10-minute adjustment that they did to some of these. This was at 9:15 and originally it was at what time? Dang. The schedule. That's at 9:15, so that's at the right time. So they may be a little off. I will update that our schedule and make sure that they're mapped correctly. But anyways, tomorrow at 12:10 then is the Birds of a Feather that if you can attend, please do. And that's all I have. Unless somebody has something else they want to cover. Trying to keep the summer a little bit low key. Just getting, the other thing that we have to keep in mind is that I want to repeat from our general meeting, we will be holding we're creating a governance board. We'll have a governance doc that Garima is working on and myself. I've asked Siddharth to look at it as well. It's out there it's been shared to everybody. If you want to consider what the governance board should look like. And in September, we'll have proper elections for a governance board for the open source community. And the government's info is, where is it? Docs. Here is the beginning of it. And we have work to do on it, but it's a start. So the goal for that is to get that finalized. I'm assuming we'll have to have some kind of vote to finalize that, and then we'll do elections for the governance board. I'm trying to give us the summer off of doing too much heavy stuff. We were pretty busy through the fall and winter this past year.
Yeah, the other thing I have is I found that Azure has a marketplace that we can put an Ortelius into.
Oh, nice.
And Red Hat may have one as well. But that's just something that down the road we can look at.
Yeah, I think those platforms will be important for us, no doubt. Let's get the catalog features up, and then we'll get that release out and push that out to some of those shared open source locations.
For cdCon, other than birds of a feather, do we need to have anybody join in or like work a booth or anything like that?
No, I don't think so, unless somebody wants to. I'd be happy to add you as a staff, but I'd just say sign up and come visit us.
Okay, I wasn't sure if there was a CDF booth like we've had in the past.
You know, there could be. I was not invited to it, so I don't know if there is one or not.
Okay, just double checking.
You would think the CDF would have their booth, but maybe they just have ambassadors working it. Not sure. Siddharth, have you heard anything about the CDF booth? I think we lost him.
No problem.
His internet was really weird. But no, not that I'm aware of, Steve. I don't.
Okay, just making sure that we aren't missing anything that we need to cover.
We probably are. Just I didn't see it come through, or
No big deal. All right, thank you, everybody.
right.
Cheers.
Thank you. Francois, yes.
Yeah. And no, I have scheduled a meeting with Seda to go over the environment and really understand what the training and education team will be doing. So I've scheduled a meeting with him for today at 1:30. So
Yeah, but you know, I just now, just so I can keep you up to date with what we did, I just went through all of our corporate, you know, the commercial version of Deploy Hub, and
Yeah.
I rewrote good sections of it, and then I converted it all over to the Ortelius features specifically, and that's what I showed you. So it's still pretty, I would say, even though it's a good start, it's still rough, and we almost could have somebody go through just the course and get their head around it and start figuring out if there's anything that we're missing.
Yeah.
And then we need to look at the platform and get it put in a platform, and then start making it more into a real course where we have, you know, proper questions to ask and maybe some excursions that we can do for each of the sections. So I would say it's 50% there. It's got 50% of work to do on it. And I'm still
Okay.
not, you know, unfortunately for me, I am too close to the product to know what people need to know. So having fresh eyes and somebody who doesn't know the product would be super helpful as well.
Okay, sure.
But I think Siddharth can get you going on it, and he's got some ideas as well. And we were looking at doing, there is a couple of platforms, God, this is let me see, O'Reilly has a training platform. I'm trying to think of, it's called, it's a weird name,
Katakoda, I think, Tracy.
That's
Katakoda.
right. Katakoda, right? That's right. Katakoda. You're right. Okay. Let me share that.
Okay.
That we're looking at putting it in something like that. If I can find it. Maybe I did it wrong. Why is it so hard to find this thing? Katakoda. Katakoda. Here we go. I found it. We're looking at potentially putting it in that.
Okay.
But if there's another platform that anybody's aware of that would it might make more sense, we can certainly look at other platforms. But we need to put it somewhere as opposed to having it in a Google Doc or a Google Slides. We need to put it somewhere where people can actually take the course, and we could link it to our the Ortelius website.
Yeah.
And then we need some people who we can consider certified trainers. If somebody wants to reach out to get training and you guys want to charge for it, you can.
Okay, orally. Katakoda.
Yeah, Catacoda. So that's what we're looking at in terms of putting a more professional edge on it. And what we would do is what we really need is we need kind of a self-paced interactive, and then we need another version of it that we can actually have a course-like structure with the same training. Because some people want to have an instructor they can ask questions to, not just go through the slides.
Okay.
We chose this because it was a good place there's a lot of other free courses out there that we can post it to. So the goal would be to get the free course out on a platform like this with some proper quizzes and some excursions to it. I would guess that the Jenkins one would be a good one to follow. So if we look at this one here. Here's get version control, building a
That's the
Docker
version
image.
control. Using Jenkins.
Yeah. See, they've built it out to have it's very structured, it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. You can create content right here. That's interesting. So it might be free for the free courses. It might be free, which would be great because then we wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So I haven't had the chance really to take a close look at this because I rewrote our website since for cdCon, so I got distracted. I wasn't able to complete any of my open source tasks. But this looks like it probably would be an interesting platform because we would just have an Ortelius section, and then we would break the training down into those areas that I talked about. How to building out a domain-driven design, and then we could be more specific about what's needed in domain-driven design. We could just do a general setup. We could do one on visibility, how to generate all the maps. So we just need some eyes on to look at this and really figure out what's the best course of action and what everybody thinks will be the easiest for end users to consume. And then we can just jump on it and start working on it.
TensorFlow. Sure. Okay.
And I'll probably get more time to spend on this next week. I might I might work on it while I'm manning the booth this Wednesday and Thursday. But any additional input would be hugely helpful.
Okay, sure. I mean, after my meeting with Soda, I will also take a look into that
Great.
Uh,
That would be great.
If I don't have any question, I will definitely reach out back to you. So
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
thank you, Tracy. Bye.
Hey, bye.